Welcome to the show, Paz de la Huerta. How's it going?
Fine, how are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. So, you starred in Broadwalk Empire as Lucy Danziger. What are your memories of filming?
Well, I remember when I got the role, it was Elaine Lewis that casted it. And, well, I'll talk about the positive things about it first. So I would say I remember I had just done like Enter the Void with Gaspard Noé, and I felt really good about my performance in that. And then I got that role, and for me, the highlight was the pilot, was the episode that Martin Scorsese directed, right? So I remember I wore blue Dolce& and Gabbana dress that I had just worn in Cannes, and I went to go do my screen test, and Martin was there. And I was trained since I was a child as a method actress, so I work with sense memory, things like that. And I remember that Martin was directing the first episode, and I played Nucky Thompson's girlfriend, Lucy, the showgirl, very sexy, troubled woman. And we had this scene. The thing about the pilot of that show was, I think, still till this day, it was the most expensive pilot ever made.
Wow.
Yeah, it cost a lot of money, and they built all of Atlantic City, like rebuilt it in Brooklyn. Like, well, it is in Brooklyn, but they rebuilt the boardwalk of Atlanta. Well, no, Atlantic City is New Jersey. Sorry. They rebuilt the Atlantic City boardwalk in Brooklyn.
Mm.
And I had a scene with Nucky Thompson, Steve Buscemi, and I was, having sex with him. And then his butler banged on the door. And I think there was some really interesting work that happened there because I created like a underlying piece to the role that I was jealous of his relationship with his butler. And I didn't want him to leave. So then I run into the bathroom and I lock him out so he can't get ready to go do whatever he had to do. And I remember that I had asked Martin Scorsese if I could improvise, and he said yes. And that's the kind of way Martin works. He's known for working with his actors with Strasberg technique. And I remember after that scene, Marty came up to me and he said, "You're what an actress should be." And that meant so much to me. So that was like, that pilot episode was the highlight of my
It,
experience on the show. And it's actually the only episode I ever watched.
oh, really? Yeah, it's a very humorous scene, isn't it? The one you were just talking about.
Totally, yeah, yeah. So there was that. And then what else? I mean, so many things since I've done that show have transpired in my life. And now, finally, with the release of the Epstein files, the truth about my life is coming to surface. My whole career was sex trafficking by my mother to Harvey Weinstein. And that included, what I did in Boardwalk Empire. I never saw my earnings, which is pretty sad. My mother stole all my money.
Oh dear, I didn't know that. That's
And
terrible.
then I went to a journalist long before the Me Too movement, got fired from Boardwalk, blackmailed into making this movie Nurse 3D, and got hit by a truck. So I was a whistleblower long before the Me Too movement, which was co-opted and corrupt. But let's keep it about Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, let's keep it
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
So in the first series, as you say, you're with Nookie Thompson, and then in the second series, you get with the FBI agent Nelson Van Alden. Two very different characters. It was interesting the way her character sort of changed and developed.
Well, I believe Lucy was quite heartbroken. She didn't want to be Nucky Thompson's whore, right? But he had feelings for the Margaret Schroeder character. And then she had a tryst with the FBI agent and gets pregnant, but had no way of taking care of the baby. And then I believe there were some scenes where I go to Nucky's and I ask him for money, right? Um, by the second season, it's funny. So the first season, it was before like Weinstein would have me twice and things got really bad in my life. Um, I had done so well in the first season that Tim Van Patten, and I would really love to see his support because I am currently about to reopen my Weinstein case because no one can deny the truth about my life anymore. And my opinion about everything in my life is I've taken my work as an actress incredibly seriously. I'm a very serious artist. I'm also a painter. And I'm only upset at anyone in the industry that hasn't supported my pursuit for justice. Because, if my career was trafficking, which it was, I'm still proud of the work I did as an actress. I bared my soul.
Yeah, and you've had many roles, haven't you, in your career? I seem to remember you a long, long time ago in a film called A Walk to Remember. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do. Yeah. I do, but I've had a GoFundMe for a year because my mother, amongst other things, stole all my earnings. I never saw any of the money I made. She stole millions of dollars from me.
Hmm.
So I have to file within the next 2 years in New York just for the fraud. So it would be nice to see, Tim Van Patten, I really was fond of. And he was one of the producers, and then Terry Winter was a writer. And then I loved working with Scorsese. I would love to see their support, because as an artist, I'm still proud of the work I did. And I hope they feel I should have gotten paid instead of my ugly mother. I've chosen to heal myself, right? I don't have any pills in my system. I don't drink alcohol. And I refused to ever be a victim again. And I got away from my exploiters, but now I'd like to see them behind bars.
What are some of your favorite roles apart from Lucy Danziger that you've done?
Well, I just did a movie in Spain with a very talented up and coming Spanish director called Rafa Castellas. And I think he's someone to really watch. He was a fashion photographer, but he's really good. And then I would say Bear. I did this movie Bear where I played like a drug dealer. I was pregnant during the making of the movie. And I mean, my story is crazy. I'm trying to, my family went such criminal lengths to cover up the truth of my life. And now people are starting to see the truth. I mean, they went as far as putting unrecognizable photos of me on the internet. I'm a very beautiful woman. What it did to my career was not good. They were abusing me, and I never even saw my earnings. I like my Roland Bear. I love playing Pepper. What else? I have been working on my own film because I direct movies too,
Tell us
called
about
El
that.
Valle. Yeah, I've been working on a movie called El Valle de Lágrimas, which is like autobiographical, and I have only one scene left to shoot. And it's interesting because I remember talking with Leonardo DiCaprio about this years ago, because he told me that the red shoes, the Michael Powell one, he was British, was one of Martin Scorsese's favorite movies. And as my life took this really insane turn of events, I started just filming it, but as a fairy tale. And out of 13 years, I only used 3 minutes. And then, it is what it is. My dad tried to kill me for the last time. I ran away to LA. I removed a corrupt lawyer and I took some money to get away from my family. And while I was homeless in LA, I recorded the last 8 minutes. And I only need like 20,000 to finish it. And I want to finish it in Sintra in Portugal. And Valley of Tears in the Bible is a prayer about the end of suffering. So this is something I've been working on for a long time. And I only have one more scene to shoot. And then after I finish that, there's a book called Narcopolis that I want to adapt into a movie. And that's about like very spiritual depiction of opiate use in India and in Bombay, like Indian dens.
Oh, right. So you got plenty going on then.
Well, I mean, I have a lot going on in my life. I'd like to see my justice sooner than later so I can buy a home and have my own family. It's gone on way too long, the evil deeds that my family has done to me. And I would like to see some support of some of the people I've worked with through my career, like Tim, like Terry, like Martin. Even if Weinstein was involved in what I did in Boardwalk Empire, I still bared my soul. I still performed very well as an actress. I even got this SAG award for my performance.
Wow.
Yeah, I would like to see their support. If they wanted my mother and Carrie Malcolm to get paid, they should have hired them. Out of all of my work as an actress, I love what I did in Jim Jarmusch's movie, The Limits of Control. He's been supportive of me, so yeah.
And you starred in a film a long time ago with Michael Caine, The Cider House Rules.
Yeah, that's when it all began because that was produced by Miramax. And that's the age my mother sold me to him at 13. It's all connected to Weinstein, but it was still me performing. I played an orphan, which is very ironic because I am an orphan. I'm still proud of my work. I still, whatever the tragedy or the pain that was going on in my life, I transmuted it into something honest, you know.
Yeah. And you're also into art, aren't you?
Yeah, these are some of my paintings.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Hmm. Good. Have you always been into art? Have you always drawn, painted?
Yeah. Since I was a child.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a very artistic person.
Yeah, and I model too. I'm a model. Yeah. I do it all.
Hmm.
Direct, act, paint, model, all of it.
So do you
So
think it was one of your best roles?
the Lucy,
Yeah.
well, I mean, the work I did was good, but then things just got very bad. I mean, like I said, the highlight for me was working with Martin Scorsese. I would love to work with him again as an actress now that I'm safe. I only started seeing my earnings 4 years ago when this new manager saw bruises on my body and knew I was being abused and decided to represent me. So now that I'm safe and recovering my life, I'd love to work with Martin again. He's a genius, and I really did love working with him as a director.
Yeah.
And other than that, there were other scenes I was proud of. There was, when I played pregnant, and then I had, you know, to throw myself down the stairs. I'm in touch with a couple people from the show, like the makeup artist Michelle. We've been in touch. And then and her mother, who I called the diva, who's the hairdresser. So, and then Michael Pitt has always been a friend of mine since I was young. He played Jimmy Darmody.
Yeah, he was a great character. It's a shame that I think it was in the second series he was killed in it.
Yeah, I mean, what happened, why I got fired, I'm pretty certain, is because I went to a journalist about Weinstein, right?
Mm.
That's why I got fired. I remember I was crying on set, but I was too frightened because Weinstein is a very intimidating man. And I had just gone to a journalist long before the Me Too movement. And I remember then I started taking a lot of pills because it was, I had no safe people to tell what was going on because my own mother put him in my life since I was a child. So I couldn't tell my mom. She knew what she had done. But Tim, he tried to show some concern, but I was too frightened. And then I got fired from the show and blackmailed into making that horrible movie and hit by a truck. And that was an assassination attempt by my family and Weinstein and Epstein. They're all connected. Yeah. So
Yes.
it is what it is. I know it's shocking to hear, but it's true.
Yeah, it is for me because I haven't heard any of this, to be
Yeah,
honest.
they've tried to suppress my story a lot because I probably know more than anyone. So now that I'm finally safe, the truth is coming out about my life. But yes, I think Tim tried to show me some concern, but it was a very frightening situation. It has been, and it's a pity it continues. I would just like to see all financial retribution at this point, to see my family behind bars, to buy a house, get married, and to be left alone, right?
And continue with your acting and directing and your art.
Exactly, and be done with this story. Yeah. No, they made many assassination attempts on me. They also put me in mental hospitals for many years. And they wanted me dead or in a mental hospital the rest of my life. I mean, it's true. If you do your research, you'll see I was hit by a truck on the set of Nurse 3D. It's all true. It's a crazy
Terrible.
story, but it's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the set of Broadwalk Empire. That was
Yeah.
pretty special, wasn't it?
Oh, that was magical, definitely. I love playing the showgirl. I love the scene when I got to jump out of the cake. That was a magical moment. The boardwalk was magical. I would love to do a big budget project like that again with Scorsese, but with Weinstein and my family out of the picture. And when it comes to the work I did, I'm proud of my work. Yeah.
Yeah. So where would you put that role in terms of your career? Is it quite high up there, or is it in the middle, or where would you put it?
Well, I think I'll feel a lot better about everything when I see my earnings. I have
Yeah.
to file alone the next 2 years to see, about $5 million my mother stole just from my career. Um, no, I feel now that I'm safe, the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
It's not the end of my life. No.
No, definitely not. And who are some of the people in the business you look up to yourself, actresses, people who you admire?
Well, I'm friends with Jack Nicholson. I think he's great. He's such a talented actor and also a very good man. Um, who else? I like older actresses. I love Gina Rowlands. I would say she's like one of my top actresses. Then I would say Isabella Gianni, the French actress. I speak three languages. I speak French, Spanish, and English. So I would like to do more international cinema.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And what are some of your favorite movies?
Oh, so many. I love Kubrick, right? He's a genius. I love Antonioni, The Passenger. I love Last Tango in Paris by Bertolucci. I love Mm.
It's a hard question because there's so many great
No, I
films,
mean
isn't there?
they're great movies. I'm just my top movies. I love C'est obscur objet du désert by Louis Buñuel. Maria Schneider had a very, she was originally supposed to play that role, but she had a terrible drug problem, and that's a whole other story. She had a famous line. She said, "It took two women to replace me," because then Buñuel ended up casting Carol Bouquet and Angela Molina. I love all the Cassavetes movies with Gina Rowlands.
Great.
Yeah.
Could you show us your trophy again and speak a little bit
Oh,
about
you want
it?
to see my stuff? I have three acting awards. You have to know that I've only seen my belongings recently because my evil family, if I ever escaped, held on to everything and used them as bait to try to track me down.
Hmm.
But this is for a film Puppy Love I did. I did it like unalived and I still got a Best Actress award. This was for a movie Choke, and this is for Boardwalk.
Wow.
SAG.
That's a special one. That looks really good.
Yeah, it's SAG. It's a SAG award. Yeah.
Hmm. And did you go to a ceremony to get that?
Yes, I did. I think I have the picture from it. This is
Oh, wow. Who are you there with?
oh, there's Steve. There's Michael Pitt. And I think I said here, I think I said, thank you, Martin Scorsese. Because I really do love Martin Scorsese. Yeah.
Wow. It's been
And
lovely to speak with you.
is that it? Okay. Well, I think that's a good place to end with that photo of me on stage.
Yeah.